So, I've been making a lot of Dead Rising videos lately. Why? Because I wanna. And looking back at all the games, I thought, why not make a list of my top 10 psychopaths of all Dead Rising games of all time. Alright. Let's go! Number 10. I'm kinda cheating on this because it's more of the cult. I remember before I got the game, I used to play it at my friend's house, and when these guys came out, I was super afraid of them, but playing it again today, they aren't that scary, just slow and creepy. Just look at them. And weirdly, they all sound the same, but I also like that once you defeat their leader, Sean, all the cultists disappear. So where would they go? Did they escape? They were probably all wiped out by the military when they arrived, but I guess some survived and made it to Dead Rising 4. I say I guess because I never played it. I don't acknowledge it. Anyways, I always thought that the True Eye cult survived, and there's probably some more all over, but they mainly congregate in Willamette, and maybe they'll show up again, but in a higher capacity. Number 9. Brent Ernest, also known as the Slappy guy. I think Brent is a real tragedy of this game. He was about to go on a date with his coworker, but on the same day is when the zombies are released, so he snaps. He starts to embody the Slappy character. When he sees Chuck, he thinks that he caused the outbreak, so that starts the fight. And once you beat him, he does a Stephan thing where he comes up for a second and says something. Stephan's was better, but nice try. I think instead of copying Stephan, they should have just made his day even worse by having his costume catch fire due to his flamethrowers, and have him kinda break character at that point, asking Chuck for help. But as Chuck watches in horror, his costume shrinks and burns onto his skin. One of the worst ways to die. Number 8. Hunter Thibodeaux. Thibodeaux? Hold on, how do I say that?
Thibodeaux. Thibodeaux. Thibodeaux.
Okay, we'll just move on. Hunter, however you say it, probably my favorite boss in Dead Rising 3. And he gives you one of the best combo vehicles in the game. Not only that, he's freaking crazy. He sees the zombie outbreak as a welcome change. I mean, I wouldn't mind. He hates authority. Same. And he just seems like he's stuck in an adolescent state of mind. Me too. He doesn't sound so bad to me, except for the whole psychopath thing, and he kills some of his gang members, so I guess I don't want to be friends with him. He'll probably run me over. Number 7. Brandon. This one's pretty hard. Sometimes it really depends on what weapon you have, I think. My favorite weapon is the laser sword, so reaching him with it is pretty easy, but the problem is, he doesn't flinch a lot of the time, so I'm open to attacks. Another cool and interesting thing is how he gets around the stalls. He likes to jump and hide in the stalls and come out of any of them. I like how creative these psychopaths are. Like Brandon, my gimmick is I'm gonna use the stalls and run and hide and shoot zombies out of them. Oh yeah, and he pushes the zombies out of the stalls, so you have more to deal with. Also, his theme's pretty cool. Number 6. Paul. Paul is pretty hard, for me at least. I like using close range weapons like the small chainsaw, and those are the worst for going against him. Since he runs away a lot and throws bombs as he runs, his whole thing is that he thinks some girls were laughing at him, and that made him mad or something. Mad enough to burn them alive. That's hot. I'm okay. After you beat Paul, he stumbles and drops a Molotov on himself, and you have a choice. You can either save him by putting out the fire, or let him die. If you save him, he'll give you some Molotovs later on, and it's the only way to get them in the game. Number 5. Stephan. Now we're picking up. I don't know what's up with Stephan. All he does is yell at you for trying to vandalize a store, like he needs to get back on his meds. He was kinda tough at first if you don't know what to do. Just climb up the aisles to avoid him. Doing damage is kinda tough because Stephan covers almost everything. He spins his card around if you get close enough, and if you stay far away too long, he'll shoot you down with a shotgun. Luckily, he's kinda slow, so take advantage of that. Oh, and his theme. His theme is pretty good. Listen. And let's not forget his death quote.
Clean up! Register 6!
This is what Brent wanted to be, but this is a lot better. Oh, and once you beat him, you get his shopping cart, which is pretty good. Number 4, Isabella. This is one of the harder ones. For me at least. I suck, yeah. She's fast, and if you aren't careful, she can do a lot of damage. So what I'd like to do is go to this spot right here, grab a few snipers and anything to shoot her with, and then just camp here and shoot her. If you stay here for too long though, she will run away and hide until you get out and make yourself more vulnerable. And when she comes back, just repeat. Sometimes she'll be able to get in this spot, but the chances of that are slim. And if she does get in, then good luck with that. Number 3, Chuck Greene from Dead Rising 2 Off the Record. In this what-if scenario, Frank West is the main protagonist instead of Chuck. And Chuck is one of the psychopath bosses. In this game, he doesn't save Katie, as you can see here. And later we find looking for Zombrex for his Katie doll. He is kinda hard, but if you get him stuck to a fence, then he's manageable. The reason I like this boss is because this whole game is not just putting Frank in the place of Chuck. I like to think that it's like this. Chuck's show was gonna be right after Frank's show. So Frank's there, you know, killing zombies in terrorist reality, and Chuck is after that. So when the zombie outbreak occurs, that's when Chuck is actually out there killing zombies. So he doesn't have time to come back and save Katie. Number 2, Cliff. So Cliff has a military background and is the only one that I can feel bad for, but we'll get into that later. First, the fight. He's really hard unless you're really high level. His weapons are his huge machete, some dynamite, and a flare. The dynamite he likes to throw at you when he's on top of the shelves, as well as the flares. The flare though doesn't do any damage, it just makes Frank cough and makes him open to attacks. The best thing to do in this fight is just stay on top of the shelves and shoot him with whatever gun you have. Getting up close is pretty risky. His machete has a long range, and if he gets behind you, he'll impale you in the back and for a lot of damage. After he does some attacks, he will retreat into a hole, so that would be the best time to strike. This boss fight is pretty fun, because he's pretty much hunting you. He knows where you are at all times, and once you lose sight of him, always watch your back. Once you take him down, he snaps back to his normal form and tells you that his family got taken out by zombies and that hearing their screams made him snap and make him think he's back in war. Plus he sounds like Wolverine from any of the video games.
I heard her scream. You lost, I won. Deal with it, bub. I'm the best there is at what I do. Let's see those karate moves, kid. In our own ways, we're both monsters. Ouch! You're one vicious kid. This is what happens when you mess with the X-Men.
Number 1, Galactus. Yeah, you remember, right? After we beat Brock, Galactus comes down and tries to kill us. Okay. Number 1, Adam the Clown. Obviously, Adam has to be number 1. Adam has everything going for him. He's fun to fight, awesome music, best death, and you get his awesome chainsaws. So Adam was performing when the zombies attacked and killed his audience. That caused him to snap, and we see that he's kinda smart. He used the rides to keep the zombies from getting too close to the controls. Alright, let's fight. Adam is really mobile for someone of his size. He has a lot of different attacks for every situation. His chainsaws can block attacks and destroy weapons. He's got throwing knives for mid-range and balloons for long range. He's also got a fire breath wake-up attack. It's like a counter move. He can also jump really high for some reason. I found the easiest way to take him out is give him a lot of space. And there's a bunch of zombie cops over here, so in case you don't have any guns, because you'll need them. And just keep dodging his attacks until he tries to blow up some balloons. That's when you pop it, and it'll stun him for a few seconds while you damage him, and Repeat till he's dead. Once you beat him, you get to see him fall on his own chainsaws and laugh at it. Fantastic. And his music is one of the best songs in the game. Along with that, you get his mini chainsaws, which is the best weapon in the game. It's faster than a normal chainsaw, and it lasts longer too. And that's Adam. Thank you for watching to the end. I still haven't figured out how to end videos, but I'll get it down eventually, hopefully. In the meantime, I'm gonna start work on my next video, which you'll see in a few days, hopefully, if I get this edited quickly enough. But until then, bye-bye.